Okay, hi again. This video is going to be about major chords. Now I'm not going to cover all the major chords. Just before we start, basically when you're learning guitar, it's a good idea to get a good foundation. And by that I mean learning some major chords, some minor chords and some seventh chords. There will be a seventh chord video put up on the website at some stage, but this stage we're just going to cover the major sounds, which are kind of the bright, happy sounds. And then some minor chords in another video, kind of darker sounds. But for this video we're just going to work on the easier kind of open string major chords. There's two major chords that a lot of people need. Well, it's not a good idea to do them at the start. That would be a B and an F. And basically, as you can see, it's because they're quite hard to hold down. So there's your B, or it could be played like that. And there's your F, which commonly is a bar chord, or a more basic version would be what's called a half bar. Now that would be a wee bit down the line when you're learning, so we're going to work on the easier ones first. So that would consist of going alphabetically: A, C, D, E, and G. And of course, as I said, leaving out B and F. So if we start with the A chord, probably one of the first chords a lot of people learn. If you're doing songs in the key of E or the key of A itself, quite a high key to sing in, or even songs in the key of D, you might find A chords. So in all different kinds of combinations, but we're just going to run through the chords. Now don't forget to check the first chord sheet, which is coming up on the screen now. That sheet is also available for download in a Word document or a PDF. So I'm going to just work through these chords one at a time. So the A chord is first finger string 4, fret 2, second finger string 3, fret 2, third finger string 2, fret 2. Now you notice my fingers are curled over that way and not like that. The reason for that is we want to leave the open strings that we're not holding down ringing clean. So when you're making a grip, just as in the basic chords video, this part of your hand's conveniently shaped to fit in snugly around the back, and then we curl our fingers back over. Now a lot of women possibly would have long nails in these fingers here, so you want to keep them trimmed fairly well down, because what happens is they'll dig into the wood on the neck, and the next thing then you get dud notes and this kind of unclear sounds. You want to get a very clear sound off the chords. So this is a 5-string chord. So again, it's all on fret 2, string 4, string 3, string 2, and then you'll notice on the chord chart that this string here has an X under it or above it. That tells us that we don't hit string 6, basically because it sounds bad. We don't want that kind of sound. We're going to go from string 5, which has the O. So on that chord chart there'll be an O on this string and an O on this one. So what we're going to do is just strum that 5 strings. Gives you a good, nice, bright sound. So main things again, keep your fingers curled over. Thumb sits kind of central here on this second fret, and then what we're going to do is just strum through 5. Okay, so as we're saying, we're not going to do the B chord because it's quite awkward. We're going to leave it. It'll probably be for another video. So we're going to move on to the C chord. Now this is a chord that is in loads and loads of songs, but a lot of the times in books it might be very early on in a book, and it's not the kind of chord you need to do right away. You need to build up to it. As you can see, it stretches across the first 3 frets and across the strings from low or from high to low, so it's quite tricky. So what we're going to do is put the first finger, string 2 fret 1, skip string 3, and then put your second finger on string 4 fret 2, and then this is the hard part here. This third finger is going to stretch over to string 5 fret 3. Now it's a good idea when you're practicing your C to split it into sections. We'll call this a top half being on the thinner strings and the bottom half being on the thicker strings. Here's a nice kind of chord there, quite an open kind of C. You notice on the chord chart again, this string 6 is X'd out, basically because if we hit that included with the rest of the strings, it sounds really rough, so we don't want that. Again, it's going to be a 5-string chord because this finger's playing the C note and so is this one. So we've got first finger string 2 fret 1, second finger string 4 fret 2, third finger string 5 fret 3, and we've got the G string open in the middle of all that, and that's going to ring open, and we're going to strum from string 5 down. Again, when you're working on this one, good idea to split it into the bottom half on the thick strings and the top half on the thin. And we've got that, and that's your C chord. Okay, you'll probably see that in some of the songs and the strumming patterns later on the videos further down this page. Okay, that's your C chord. Then we need we're going to look at another common chord that comes up an awful lot is a D chord. This is kind of like a triangular kind of shape and all on the thin strings down here. So what we're going to do is put your first finger string 3 fret 2, second finger string 1 fret 2, and your third finger string 2 fret 3. Quite a tricky chord. Very often this note here causes the hassle. Again, most of these chords we're working on, you can take that second finger away and open up the E string to give us a chord commonly called a D sus2. Don't worry about these names, it's more about just getting the chord shapes down at this stage. So again, we've got third string fret 2, first string fret 2, second string fret 3. Again, that grip, keep the grip, this part of your hand fits in snug, curl your fingers back over, and then we're going to strum 4 strings. Apart from the rules being that we need to start on what's called the root note of the chord, which is string 4. If we again hit string 6, get that awful droning sound and it ruins the sound of the chord. So on the chord chart you'll have an X here and an X here. Don't use these two, go from string 4. Very common chord, loads of songs are in this key and open with this chord, so you'll see it an awful lot. And that's your D chord. Okay, another chord that comes up an awful lot in songs is an E chord. Very close kind of relation to the E minor. You can see there that if I play that, that would actually be an E minor chord, which you'll see in the minor chords video. To turn that into an E major, in other words a bright sound, we just add on one note, but we'll go through it one finger at a time. So this is a chord you can strum all 6 on. So what we're going to do is string 3 fret 1, string 5 fret 2, string 4 fret 2. So we've got first finger, second finger, third finger, and we'll go have an E string here. We're playing an E note with your third finger, and we'll have an E string open, which is string 1. So because we're strumming from E to E, we can hit the whole lot. Again, you've got that grip. Now the thumb has moved down to the first fret because obviously if we sit here it's going to be quite uncomfortable. A good tight grip here. Leave room for this string to ring, and then we just strum all 6. So you don't have to worry about this end, you can just strum right through. And that's your E chord. Okay, as I said before, we're going to leave out F because it's quite tricky even if you do the simpler version, and we're going to move on to the last of the major chords in this video, which is G. Now I'll just go through 2 kinds of G. In the past people would have learned this G probably as the only G and used it for everything, but this G here has become very popular. The only difference is we're moving that third finger to the second string and tucking the little finger in underneath. So what we're going to do is work through this finger by finger. So it's string 5 fret 2, string 2 fret 6, or sorry, string 6 fret 3, and the third finger string 1 fret 3. There's quite a big gap here of open strings that I'm not holding. So because of that, we've got to make sure we've got the right grip. So we're gripping the neck tight here. First finger curls over, second finger, third finger. Notice that thumb is sitting around the second fret again. So again, we've got that shape coming in from the back. Curl the fingers back over, not like that, but like that. And then we're going to strum through all 6. Now, why can you strum 6 in this chord? Well, basically this second finger is playing a G note, and this finger's a G note. So it's the same rules as it was on the E, where you could strum E to E. Now we're strumming G to G. Plus you don't have to worry about the right hand, you can just strum straight through. So the only difference in this G and the other 4-fingered G is that the third finger goes to string 2 fret 3, and then we put the wee finger or the little finger underneath it, squeeze down tight, and that gives us a slightly more full sound. Same rules, strumming from the G note to the G note. This suits loads of songs. Some songbooks might just have that G as the only G in the song, but it'll probably not make much difference playing that. This will probably sound better. It depends sometimes on the age of the songbook. But anyway, rules are strumming all 6. So again, we've got string 5 fret 2, string 6 fret 3, string 2 fret 3, string 1 fret 3, and strum right through. And that's your G chord. Okay, so don't forget to check out the minor chords video, which is going to run through some of the easier minor chords, which are also really important to learn when you start guitar.